lot of you NPCs think that it's got something to do with left-wing ideology or right-wing ideology. No. It's got nothing to do with that. It doesn't matter. It's got all to do with, do you pledge allegiance? Do you denounce Jesus at the Western Wall in Israel? Yes, you get to be anything. World's richest man. No? Guess you're gonna succumb to a matrix attack? Look at what's happening with Andrew Tate. Now, folks, like I said, there's levels to this. Look at what's happening with Andrew Tate. That is a glimpse into the future of this police state we thought we dodged in the form of left-wing ideology. No. Now we're succumbing to a police state. We're succumbing to a police state in the form of, Jewish power. If you do not bow down to the Jewish power, yeah, you're gonna be labeled an anti-Semite, and charges out of nowhere are gonna, come out of nowhere. Now look at what's happening to Andrew Tate. Now, a lot of you are, your minds are surrounding what Andrew Tate says, the pro-masculinity trope, the pro-masculinity plight, the lost boys generation, so to speak. Look, some of us operate on a higher frequency, okay? Like I said, there's levels to the red pill. Some of y'all are still operating at amateur level 1, at base level red pill. Some of us are operating on a higher level, on higher levels. Look at Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate he's promoting Donald Trump and says, he influenced a lot of young men, the Gen Zs of the world, to side with and potentially, vote for Trump. Unfortunately, like I said before, Trump has been assimilated by the Agent Smiths. So who's not to say that, I hope not, Andrew Tate potentially being an industry plant himself. And it's nothing new. I've said this years prior. I'm not saying he is. I'm not accusing Andrew Tate of anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Because Andrew Tate, but you may say to yourself, but MrShowTym, but Andrew Tate is still succumbing to matrix attacks regardless. Yeah, those are the optics they want you to, that's what they want you to think. Oh, support Trump, he's, the bastion of hope. Now, kudos to Andrew Tate. He was in support of, that interview with Piers Morgan. A lot of traditional conservatives were co-signing Andrew Tate. Matt Walsh titling his videos, "The Reason Why Young Men Should Listen to Andrew Tate." Perfectly logical, right? Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Maybe they had some beef going on, but most traditional conservatives, they were on board with Andrew Tate's mission of pro-masculinity and conservative values. Only up until Andrew Tate came out in support of Hamas, in support of the Palestinians, and he dished out a very logical take and said, look, Piers, I understand, yes, both groups have engaging in warfare, but both groups have engaging in terrorist attacks. But even in any given situation with two parties, there's always one that threw the first punch. Even the school kids fighting on the playgrounds, both boys are fighting. One of them threw the first punch. One of the boys will always be bigger and stronger than the other, no matter how trivial or big or small, or what magnitude. Israel is the superior entity with a very sophisticated military force, the Mossad, IDF. Okay? Backed by the American government. Ergo, the importance of the whole Jeffrey Epstein files. Israel doesn't exist, does not have the power it has without the backing and support, the military support from the US government. Okay? So, like I said, Andrew Tate, who's not to say that Andrew Tate draws in his crowd with the whole pro-masculinity movement, which I to myself support. But ultimately, so long as Andrew Tate is pro-Trump. Now, again, I'm not accusing Andrew Tate of anything, but I'm merely mapping out some possibilities here. I'm brainstorming possibilities. I have my tinfoil hat on. I wish I had something along those lines. We have our tinfoil hats on, and we're just mapping out possibilities because there's so many moving puzzle pieces that some of them are right, some of them could be wrong, or all of them are right, or all of them are wrong. It's crazy, I know. So who's not to say that Andrew Tate is merely drawing in followers, the young generation, right? Preaching pro-masculinity to get the crowd to like him, to become likable. Okay? So long as he promotes Donald Trump. Now, I'd like to see how things are when I would even have more respect for Andrew Tate if he were to call out the Trump administration, of which he has. He said, hey, listen, I don't agree with everything Trump does with regards to his allegiance to Israel. Shout out to the Tate brothers, both Andrew and Tristan. He's made that perfectly clear. But again, like I said, I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just merely mapping out some possibilities because it's quite obvious that there are double agents here. And we have to be careful of them. A lot of people put their trust in Donald Trump. And a lot of the Charlie Kirks of the world, you know that little map of the US, the country, just red, right? A few blue Democrats support it, but most of it is just red with the red wave. I don't know, Andrew. I don't know. Only time will tell. But for now, I seem to be impressed with Andrew Tate. He has my trust. But the truth will only be revealed in due time.